Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time since I did a full video. Right, I know I said I wasn't going to upgrade the intercooler in my last intercooler video, but I decided once again to change my mind and go for an even bigger intercooler. Now the reason for this is I wasn't planning to, but I saw a good deal on Black Friday for a Turbo Systems 3073 turbo, which was a direct bolt-on for the E46. Now Turbo Systems hadn't done this before, otherwise I would have bought it 2 years ago if they had it out on the market, but they obviously decided later on it might have been a good idea that they do a direct bolt-on for the 3073 turbo for the E46 M57 engine. Anyway, I couldn't resist. And I bought it, and therefore after I bought it I found that my old intercooler, which was the 550 230 by 76, wasn't coping very well. After about 4,200 revs it started to heat up quite a lot, probably due to insufficient cooling capacity. So I decided, well, I need to upgrade my intercooler now, and I need to go to the biggest one that I can find that will fit the front of the car. And boy, has it been an absolute nightmare to get this done. There's so much modification to do to the front of the car and to the intercooler to make it fit. Obviously there's ways you could use the original inlet and outlet, but I decided to go the other way, the direct route way, where I wouldn't have to reroute the piping all the way around and get rid of my brake cooling ducts at the front of the car. So I decided to go the harder way and really stress myself out on doing this. So first of all, let's just see the difference in size that I'm talking about. I mean, for a start, this is 100 millimeters thickness, and to this 76, it's got more height to it. It's 30 centimeters or 300 millimeters. Okay, so there's quite a lot of extra cooling there for intercooler. It actually weighs quite a lot heavier as well. So I mean, this one I can pick up like this fairly easily, but this one I would say it's a two-handed job. Okay, to compensate for the weight difference and to get this intercooler onto the car, I had to do a few things to the front of the car, which I'm about to explain. But before I explain that, I'll explain a bit further what I've done to modify this intercooler to make it fit nicely in the front of the car. Okay, right, as you can see, I have drilled into the intercooler. Circular hole saw, HSS hole saw, and that was 60 millimeters. Okay, 60 millimeters I've done. The reason why I've done 60 instead of 57, it is a 57 tube, okay, but I've done 60 because the outer edge where the bead is here is 60, and what I did is carefully saw that out and put that and wedged it in there. Now unfortunately I didn't record a video to do that, to show you how careful I was to actually, it kind of was pressed in, but I actually tapped it in with a lump hammer, and they had to be very careful because if you tapped it in too much it would fall in and then you wouldn't be able to get it back out. After I'd done that, there was a it was very tight, so I thought, well, it's actually it's stuck in there, so all I need to do is seal it really, and I used a epoxy metal putty to do the job, and obviously that's strengthened the tube to the intercooler, and plus it sealed any little tiny minute gaps that I've had. Sealed that up quite nicely. And the second thing I've done, I put end caps, aluminium end caps on there, and again I've used the epoxy putty, and then I've also got silicone end caps to go on top of this, and that will basically give me extra security. That will take care of the loose leaks if there is any. Now to go to the front of the car. Right here, got two brackets. This is to hold the intercooler up. They're really thick. I had to use a flat bar, and I had to drill additional hole into the flat bar to get this to line up with the intercooler to bolt it on. There was a aux fan here, and there was a condenser behind here. So I removed those. I removed the condenser out the way of here because I wanted direct airflow into the radiator. I didn't want the radiator to suffer, the cooling, water cooling to suffer because the extra largeness of the intercooler blocking airflow and warm air getting into the radiator. So I opened all that up, got rid of the AC, and also weight reduced the front of the car to compensate for the extra weight of the intercooler. Overall, with the old weight of the intercooler, the AC unit was more than the intercooler I'm putting on. So I'm actually in a better situation where I'm actually 2 kilos, I think 1.5 to 2 kilos less weight at the nose of the car, which will help it to turn in a bit better. So that is a plus. Actually weight reduced it a little bit at the front of the car. These bolts that stick out to hold the aux fan on, I had to grind these off to make sure the intercooler fits as far back as possible, because of clearance issues with the front bumper. So I will show you now what I've done on the front bumper to make sure the intercooler actually fitted correctly. Right, now if you can see on the front bumper here, I've cut out this piece here all the way to this little rivet thing, plastic rivet that holds the crash bar to the bumper. So all the way back there, and again all the way back on here. I didn't really have to go all the way up to here. That was my mistake. I only needed to go up to about there to clear the intercooler to make it slot. The other thing was I had to trim all this bit off to get the bumper on. Okay, right. In order to take the bumper off the car, there's 3 screws and a bolt underneath on these. Okay, 2 at the top, 1 at the bottom to get it off. And if you've got the under tray off, you'll have to take the under tray off as well. And there's all bolts on the running for the under tray. I don't run an under tray, so I didn't have to worry about that. So the other thing is there's 2 bolt, 1 bolt, very long bolt goes through here. You can see that from underneath the bumper. If you shine a light up, it's quite difficult to see where the bolts are. And if I can find it, I'll show you a bolt. So we're talking this long, and what tends to happen is it gets stuck. Once you unwind it, it gets stuck. I think it's a E55 socket that goes on there. You might get away with an E50, but I think it's the E55 and goes on there. But like I said, it gets stuck. You have to really either wiggle it or yank it out. You have to pull it out basically once you've done. Otherwise, I found that the hard way, because I thought I'd done it and it carried on going like that because it was stuck. It was stuck in there. So I had to pull it out somehow, and I managed it because I did a lot of wiggling and it was frustrating. And I will put a clip of the time-lapse video of me taking the front bumper off and stripping it down. At least it gives you some idea what the work is involved in actually getting to this stage where you can actually mount these brackets on and start thinking about lining up the intercooler. Now all I've got left to do is mount the intercooler and then put the hoses on and then put the clips on, and that's it, and that's all I need to do. In terms of power, I expect to gain over the old intercooler. Expect to gain about 30 to 50 Newton meters more on the top end. Be a lot cooler, and that's one way to increase the brake horsepower of your vehicle, just simply by giving it adequate air charge cooling. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up. Any comments, any questions, go fire away. I'll be happy to answer them as usual. You know, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care and be happy.